Hello everyone and welcome to the IT-KnowledgeBase YouTube channel, your ultimate destination for IT tutorials, troubleshooting guides, and in-depth tech insights. Whether you are an IT expert looking for advanced solutions or a beginner seeking to build a solid foundation in information technology, we have got you covered. Our channel offers step-by-step guides, review of the latest tech trends, and practical tips to help you stay ahead in the ever-changing IT landscape. Subscribe for regular updates and never miss out on essential IT knowledge. Introduction to using a Cisco router as a DNS server. Let's dive into the Cisco CCNA and CCNP series together, beginning one with the core configuration concepts. In this video, we will explore the concept of configuring a Cisco router as a DNS server. This approach not only leverages the capabilities of your router, but also offers a cost-effective solutions for small to medium-sized networks. By integrating DNS functionalities into your router, you can enhance network performance, improve security, and simplify management-related tasks. We will discuss the benefits of using Cisco router as a DNS server, including reduced latency through local caching, centralized management, and the ability to filter DNS queries for enhanced security. However, we will also address the potential drawbacks such as limited functionalities and scalability concerns to provide a balanced perspective. Whether you are a networking novice or an aspiring CCNA professional, understanding how to configure and manage DNS services on a Cisco router is a valuable skill that can enhance your networking knowledge and capabilities. Join us as we delve into the practical steps and consideration for setting up your Cisco router as a DNS server, empowering you to optimize your network's performance and reliability. You do not typically want a Cisco router to be a DNS server. Typically, you would use an external Windows or Unix and Linux server to resolve DNS queries, but a Cisco router is capable of doing it. We will see in this video how to configure Cisco routers as a DNS server and client to perform some basic queries. This is my network diagram to illustrate the scenario. In this diagram, I illustrate 3 L2 switches as a substantial link to 3 routers placed in different locations. R3 will act as a DNS server to resolve a host name and fully qualified domain names, such as my domain name www.itkb.lab to an IP address. Enterprises will typically have an internal DNS server that can resolve the IP addresses of internal hosts. All the hosts will send their DNS queries to this server. If the internal DNS server cannot resolve a query, it will forward the request to public DNS servers on the internet. DNS requests are sent using UDP port 53 and can fail over to TCP. To accomplish this, I have separated this into 3 steps. In step number 1, first we have to configure all the routers and assign the IP addresses to the interfaces in a specific network. I have illustrated the scenario with the IP addresses assigned to each router interface. In step number 2, we will configure the static route certainly and verify the connectivity performed by ping command. And then in step number 3, we will configure R3 as a DNS server and R1 as a DNS client. We also have some VPCs who simply perform some DNS queries. This is my present network and I am configuring all the router interfaces certainly according to my network. And your network scenario is not likely very identical to mine, so you should follow yours. Let's start from step number 1, configure all the router interfaces one by one. And we will start from the R1 first. Open the terminal. And make sure we are selecting the right interface and assigning the IP address. Change the mode into the global configuration mode and type interface according to my network, Ethernet 1/0. This is the first interface in R1 concerned to face towards R2. Type IP address 10.10.10.1, subnet mask 24-bit, hit enter. Duplex is full to avoid seeing duplex mismatch alert and no shut. To effectively change the state of an interface from shutdown to active. Now open the R2 terminal. This is my R2. And we need to configure 2 interfaces here in R2. One is concerned with R1 and the second is concerned with R3. The first interface is according to my network. Interface Ethernet 1/0, IP address 10.10.10.2 and the subnet mask. Duplex is full and no shut. Interface state is changed. It's up. And the second interface is interface Ethernet 1/1, IP address 10.10.11.2, and the subnet mask is 24-bit. Duplex is full and no shut. Link state has been changed. It's up. Now open the R3 terminal. And R3 has only one interface which is concerned with R2. Go to global configuration, select the interface Ethernet 1/0, IP address 10.10.11.1, and the subnet mask is 24-bit. Duplex is full and no shut. Sorry about typo. Now the link state is changed to up. Now save the configuration. Now step number 1 is completed, as we have assigned IP addresses to all my router's interfaces. In step number 2, we must provide static routes because we have two different networks. Switch back to R1. In R1 global configuration mode, type IP route 10.10.11.0 and the subnet mask is 24-bit. This is the destination network and the next hop address is 10.10.10.2. This is the R2 interface. Check the static route. Do show IP route. And here it is. Now switch back to R3. In the global configuration mode, type IP route 10.10.10.0 and the subnet mask is 24-bit. This is the destination network and the next hop address is 10.10.11.2. This is the R2 interface. Now switch back to R2 and type do show IP route. Defining a static route on R2 is not required as this is physically connected to both networks, to 10.10.10 and to 10.10.11. And now test the connectivity from R3 to R1 and R2 by performing the ping command. Exit from the global configuration and from the privilege mode, type ping space 10.10.10.1 to my R1. And yes, I am getting my ICMP echo requested replies. Check the same to other routers and their interfaces. Type ping space 10.10.10.2 to my R2 interface connected to R1 and it's responding as well. And now type ping space 10.10.11.2. This is to my R2 second interface and this also returns. So my connectivity and routes all are working fine. In step number 3, now configure the DNS server and create some host and FQDN records on R3. This should act as a DNS server as corresponding to our illustrations. In the global configuration mode, type IP space domain dash lookup, hit enter. Type IP space name server is my R3. This router IP is your DNS server. Type IP domain name is my domain IT-KnowledgeBase.lab. This is my domain and suffix. Type IP DNS server. And don't forget to save the configuration. Now create the host records for R1. Type IP space host space R1 and the R1 IP address 10.10.10.1. Create host A record for R2, IP host R2 and the R2 IP address is 10.10.10.2 and one more for R3 IP host R3 10.10.11.1. Hit enter. Now create the FQDNs for all the routers. Type IP route r1.itkb.lab 10.10.10.1. Sorry, IP host r1.itkb.lab 10.10.10.1. Next for r2.itkb.lab 10.10.10.2. And next for r3 IP host r3 itkb.lab 10.10.11.1. Hit enter. Don't forget to save the configuration. Now go back to R1. R1 is working as a DNS client. In the global configuration, type IP space domain dash lookup. Hit enter. IP name server 10.10.11.1. This is the IP address of DNS server, which is R3 in this situation. Type IP domain name itkb.lab. This is my primary domain and suffix. Now hit enter. Go back to privilege configuration. Now test the DNS queries with routing both with the ping command. Type ping r1. It should good to go. And yes, it's pinging. Now ping to FQDN. Ping space r1.itkb.lab. It's also pinging fine. Perfect. Now ping to r2. Ping r2. It's also working fine. Now ping r2 as FQDN. .lab. It's also working fine. Now from R1 test to R3, ping R3, type ping r3.itkb.lab, FQDN for R3. It's also working fine. We should also check these DNS queries and the resolutions from the R3 side. Switch back to R3, go to privilege mode, type ping R1. It's pinging. Type R1 as FQDN. It's also resolving. Now ping to R2. Same. Perfect. Now ping to R2 as FQDN. It's also resolving. It's furthermore working and pinging is 5 out of 5. Now open the PC1 and check the IP configuration first. This is my PC1. Open the terminal, check the IP configuration, and my DNS server is R1. Change the DNS to 10.10.11.1, which is R3. Now I have changed my DNS server to my R3, and now perform the ping. Ping r3.itkb.lab. Hit enter. And yes, it's responding to my other network. Ping r2 to itkb.lab. It's responding to. Now open the PC2 on my other network site. Check the IP configuration. My DNS server is R3. Now ping to r1.itkb.lab, and it's responding. Using a Cisco router as a DNS server can be a practical solution for a small to medium-sized network, especially in a learning environment like CCNA training. It offers benefits such as cost savings, simplified management, and improved performance for local DNS queries. However, it comes with limitations in functionalities, performance, and scalability that should be considered, particularly as network demands grow. Understanding these trade-offs is essential for making informed decisions in network design and management. Alright, that is all for the now. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more of my journey with you all. If you want to see more awesome training content, make sure you click that subscribe button. Click it so you don't miss it. Or if you have any issues or questions, you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you.